about the budget. And the mayor or the city administrator, members of the county board of supervisors, the governor for that matter, heck, even the president will say, well, we had a very engaged participatory process of engagement on our budget. When in fact, that's just not the case. Most folks that show up tend to have stickers. Most folks that showed up, if you've been to a town hall, you've been there, right? You sit in the back and you want to participate and you realize, my gosh, there seems to be 200 people there for the exact same issue. And your voice shrinks. Your physiology shrinks. You tend to sort of work your way towards the back and out the door. You don't feel you were necessarily heard. No, we may have a second town hall meeting in a different part of the city to show that we're culturally competent and truly engaged with the diversity of our city. But it's the same process. It's a one-way conversation. 99.999, I'll use that again, % of the budget was already settled before the mayor, whoever she or he may be, even entered into the room. We call that a participatory process. No, we'll have a little town hall meeting on other topics. Sure, we'll have a city council meeting. The best ones are always the ones that were the shortest. Why were they short? Well, no one showed up. We said, that was a great meeting. It was only 45 minutes. Sometimes you'll show up, but you're given just a couple of minutes, tops. There's a lot of you, 1 minute. That's outreach. It's a joke. You know it. That's why you don't have real confidence. You vote, guys like me decide, it's getting a little dull. You're in a world where last night you may have watched, well, not Dancing with the Stars, but you may have watched The Voice. You may have watched American Idol and those 3 final contestants. You may have voted 10 times last night. But we ask you to vote. You may have voted like, dislike. You may be even voting like and dislike right now, listening to me. And then we tell you to show up every 2 or 4 years and vote on election day. We ask you to go to a post office, if they exist, or someone's garage, and here you are tweeting and texting and Facebooking and FaceTiming and tumbling around and Pinteresting and all this stuff, and all of a sudden we give you a little pen and you sort of put across a dot, and then you go back to the real world after we give you a sticker. I mean, it's comical. And so increasingly you're frustrated. I get it. And what you're doing is you're more engaged peer-to-peer than ever. This whole millennial generation. There's a big-time magazine, a cover story on this that's going to take a controversial perspective. I had a chance to review it, but it's also one that I subscribe to. Your generation's more empathetic, more engaged, smarter than any generation in history, higher IQs, but more disconnected with governing institutions and larger institutions than ever. You're going to Donors Choose to solve your education issues because you're sick and tired of listening to these school board debates. Nothing changes. You're going to Kiva.org. You're going to Indiegogo or Kickstarter and crowdsourcing and crowdfunding. You're disintermediating from government. You're going peer-to-peer to solve problems directly. How do we reconnect that? How do we re-engage you in participatory democracy, where you're not treated as subjects, where we do things to you, but you're treated respectfully, where we do things with you, a two-way conversation? And how can technology, in this case, to the specific question, create a platform for that engagement? Because we know what democracy does. It democratizes voices, allows more people to engage, and provides a platform where you have more points to engage. And how can we reimagine a governing system that moves away from this machine thinking where you put in $1 taxes and you get limited choices, like a vending machine: police, fire, healthcare, education, defense. And if you don't like what you get, you do what every one of you have done. You kick the machine. You shake it, which is the protest movements, the Occupy or Tea Party on whatever side of the political aisle, versus government as a platform, a tool to cultivate and engage and to connect with people in unprecedented ways. So my argument is therein lies the opportunity. Government as a platform, not top-down machine thinking, not top-down thinking at all, bottom-up thinking, coordinating, cultivating, networking, as opposed to centralized, inside out. It's outside in, the pyramid flipping upside down. Not guys like me on top anymore, but all of you on top. Real, active citizen engagement. Real participatory democracy. Recapturing your voice after Election Day. Making you feel part of the life of your neighborhood, your community, our state, our nation, and the world we're trying to build.